A lot of Americans would have liked him to tell Putin, we know you're attacking our infrastructure. We know you're making cyber attacks. And if you continue to do that, there will be a consequence. At least that's what a lot of folks feel like part of his message should have been. But he didn't leave with a clear message. Let's bring in Congresswoman Cammack from Florida. Congresswoman, your impression of what you've seen so far?
Bizarre in a word. Pretty disappointing overall. We've seen for the last several days a bumbling president, a commander-in-chief who is really leading from behind and projecting a weak America. There have been so many missteps and so many gaffes on the international stage that it is really, really troublesome for every single American and our allies around the world to watch, as really we're beginning negotiations from a position of weakness, really trying to walk back all of the great work that President Trump did in reinforcing that America First agenda. It's really, really troublesome. I mean, look at what he said when he was talking with Putin about the cyber attacks. No clear message was sent about deterrence, no consequences. Really more negotiating, saying, hey, we've got critical infrastructure that we really wouldn't like you to attack. I'm stunned, truthfully. It really is troublesome. And of course, we've seen where he goes off script and says repeatedly, oh, I'll get in trouble with staff if I continue down this path. And then his notion about talking about trust and really talking about how we are going to do these things and we're going to trust that they're going to do it. And I giggled a little bit when he mentioned red lines, because we all remember the infamous red lines under the Obama administration, of which he, of course, was a part of. And that, yes, and that red line was a movable red line. There is no such thing as a red line in the Biden administration. So when we look at what we've done to date under this administration, we've seen the reentry of the United States into the Human Rights Council, of which there was no question from him about, hey, we have Cuba and we have Russia and China, some of the worst human rights abusers in the world, and we did nothing to hold them accountable, just freely rejoined. That's just one example out of hundreds that we've seen where we are projecting weakness, and this is dangerous for every single American and our allies around the world.
Yeah, Congresswoman, that was actually my next question to you, because a lot of people were concerned that he would appear weak, the U.S. would appear weak. We don't know what happened behind closed doors, but in his press conference, he didn't really have a clear message, like you mentioned, the cyber attack. So when I was watching that, I was thinking, okay, so you're basically saying these are off limits, but the other things, it's okay. You could go ahead and attack those. It just didn't seem as strong as we would have seen, with President Trump.
No, certainly not. And I mean, the notion that he's negotiating with Putin on what they can and cannot attack. I mean, first and foremost, we need more cyber warriors, which is why I have undertaken the work of creating the first cyber academy, the next service academy for the United States, so that we have a next generation of cyber warriors able to compete on the world stage. But second of all, you don't list out really off limits for your adversaries, knowing full well that they are complicit with these cyber gangs like DarkSide. This notion that the state of Russia has no wherewithal of these cyber gangs like DarkSide is a fallacy. We know that they operate with the blessing of the Russian government. And that was a missed opportunity for President Biden to sit there and say, listen, these were two critical infrastructure sectors that you were complicit in attacking, and you need to be held accountable. And there was nothing there. It was really just, again, a very weak showing, lots of bumbles, lots of gaffes, and I can't wait for 2024 to come fast enough.
Yeah, listing what's off limits, kind of like saying, don't take this computer. Whatever you do, don't take this computer, because I don't want you to take this computer. Well, what's the first thing you're going to want to do is take the computer. So can you stay with us? We need to take a break here, Congresswoman.
I'm sorry, say again?
Can you stay with us? We need to take a break. We'd like to continue the conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
That's great. Thank you. We'll be back with Congresswoman Cammack after this. We'll discuss more on American Agenda next.